Hi, my name is Andy Tomusiak. I joined Scouting about 6 years ago, and I earned my Eagle in May of 2019. I joined in the first year of Webelos, which is in the last couple years of Cub Scouting. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know anybody who's a part of Scouting, but it's become a major part of my life ever since, and I'm very thankful to what Scouting has provided for me. I graduated from Boulder High School in May of this year, and I'm planning to attend the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. to study international affairs with a focus on conflict resolution. To attend college, I received the Daniels Fund Scholarship, and I also received the Presidential Academic Award at George Washington. I think some of the skills that Scouting taught me, like discipline and initiative, and concern for the collective good, really pushed me in a direction that was more centered around people. Scouting taught me some of the key personal management skills that allowed me to get there. For a couple years at school, I'd been involved with this club called the Rotary Interact Service Club, which aims to connect high schoolers with meaningful service opportunities. As a result, I've worked with a place called the Family Learning Center, which seeks to provide after-school programs for underprivileged children. Every year they try to have a Christmas toy drive. That year the drive wasn't being held. I decided to set up different collection centers, and I chose a couple different companies, and they agreed to let me set up little Christmas trees with different paper ornaments with a child's name and their gift wish on them. And for several weeks I ran the drive, and people would pick a snowflake off the tree and go and purchase that gift and return it under the tree. And eventually, after the drive was over, I went out with a group of scouts and collected all the gifts, and the children received the gifts on Christmas. I remember what an important time the holidays were for me as a child, and so I really wanted to help give back and provide them some of that same experience. So to provide this happiness for some of the children that I've worked with previously was really meaningful to me. One of my favorite Scout events has always been the Klondike Skills competition, in which troops from all over the state of Colorado, and I think beyond, build sleds and have to orienteer between different stations at which they show their proficiency in first aid, cooking, fire starting, team building. It's always a really challenging event because it's in the dead of winter. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 feet of snow on the ground, and it's a long day. For me, it's always been the greatest team building challenge of any of the Scout events that we do. And in fact, when I was senior patrol leader on one Klondike, we had a scout who became hypothermic on the trip. And that was a really difficult challenge as a leader, because I realized that leadership is more than just giving orders. It's about making sure that people in the group feel comfortable. And it was a real opportunity for me to build my leadership. One of the most meaningful lessons I've learned from Scouting is that service can extend beyond the typical definition of volunteering or working on projects. Service can really be how you treat people, in empathy and bringing people closer together and having respect for the values of others. Scouting has taught me how to live a life of service through both definitions, direct action and character. Integrity is one of the most complex and challenging virtues that Scouting teaches young people to pursue, and yet it's one of the most commonly called upon in life. One phrase from the script at our Court of Honor advancement ceremonies always sticks with me particularly. You will face ethical and moral challenges in your life where there's nobody to police you and nobody to guide you. You will win without praise and lose without blame. Life seems to throw situations at you where the options are not just as simple as clear right and wrong. And Scouting provided me the environment and guidance in which I could really think about what integrity means to me and how to live it to the best of my ability, even in those complex situations. Scouting also showed me the nuance of leadership, sometimes in a very vivid manner. A team of people who are only willing to function as the chief executive is just as impossible and frustrating to work with as a team with no leader at all. By holding different positions of responsibility and seeing the range of skills that Scouts had, I learned that management is just one part of a range of roles that are necessary for a team to thrive. And then I learned that one can have the aptitude to succeed in all 3 of those roles as a leader, expert, and adapter, and that knowing when to embrace each of those roles is just as important as knowing how to lead in the first place. Going into Scouting, I never could have predicted the extent to which Scouting would mature my attitude, allow me to grow my skills, build a community. It's prompted self-reflection for me and shaped my very identity. I've heard the phrase many times, but I think only now can I really understand it. To be an Eagle Scout is for life. I want to express my deep gratitude to some of those whose guidance and impact was invaluable for me during my time in Troop 77. Firstly, to Mr. Terry Olson and Mr. Chris Love, who provided their constant mentorship, sage advice, and kind support in scouting and beyond. To Mr. Paul Arnold, my Eagle Project advisor, whose almost 5 decades of service and dedication to advising generations of scouts is a defining part of our troop. To Mr. Paul Stuber, who took the time to work through what must have felt to him like hundreds of merit badges with me. To Dr. Carl Brown, my Hornaday Award advisor, whose amazing expertise in forestry and experience in scouting made my project an even more rewarding and meaningful learning opportunity than I could have imagined. To my parents, whose patience and enthusiasm for me allowed me to give my all to scouting. Unfortunately, I don't have time to thank every person who's made an impact on me, and in the wonderful community that is Troop 77, that would have to be quite a long list. The journey to Eagle is in no way one that can be walked alone. So I'm incredibly thankful to have had such a wide and exceptional network of support. I'm very grateful to have had the chance to learn and grow in this environment. I'm deeply humbled to receive this honor, and I strive to live up to this distinction every day. Thank you very much.